What's going on, guys? Let's do LCS Week 3 in 10 minutes. First up, my team versus Energy. So, naturally, last week, my team got smashed by Cloud9. And, you know, because of that, you're definitely not going to favor us entirely because it's like, well, I mean, if that's what you showed last week, how was it going to be any different? Because it's only been like 4 days. Like, it's not even a big, it's like a short turnaround, So, are you guys going to recoup from that? Are you guys going to be like, no, that ain't us, and we're going to quickly rebound? You're not going to be 100% sure. For Energy, at least they went to 3 games versus FlyQuest. Yeah, they got kind of blown out by the 3rd game. And I'll admit, game 2, FlyQuest made a lot of errors that led to Energy having control. And even when Energy did have the lead, they really struggled finishing it out. It was not a great sign for them. And I would say their drafts definitely looked a bit better in week 2. And by going into week 3, they need to make sure like all that is settled. Like, give yourself the best drafts. They're already trying to put Dokla on Cassante Perma and, kind of curve out basically add some stability to their drafts. And for our side, obviously we played Lee Sin top. That was terrible, and we need to make sure we have the best drafts we can, because at the end of the day, both sides, both sets of players like make random mistakes, but I think we should be favored because in the end of the day, I think we have a better idea on how to swap around the map, move around the map, and I think our fighting is better. I think our actual execution for fights is better, which should give us an edge. But like I said, because of last week, you can't just say it's like a full-on like way better situation, so it's a 55-45 edge. This is what I gave Cloud9 over us, and that was obviously completely wrong. But I think I'm going to do a little bit safer bet with this one. 100 Thieves versus Team Liquid. 100 Thieves got a little bit smacked around, to be honest. And that was a little surprising to see that it was a bit more one-sided than I expected it to be against Dig. And I think for them, I don't even think their drafts were necessarily the worst or anything like that. I think for them, it's just kind of just limiting some of the random mistakes that occurs. Like I said, a lot of these teams that are not top 3 do have these occurrences. So you're trying to minimize these as much as you can. But for 100 Thieves, I don't think that's, even though I say they should, I think them and Energy both have, how would I say it? They want to press the map. They want to push the tempo of the map forward. And because of that, it's going to incite some errors. And of course, you can't really be doing this long-term towards the top level, because then you just get absolutely smashed for, the slip-ups, and the enemy team is just waiting for it. And Team Liquid, they're looking red hot, right? They're looking good. And since they have the Esports World Cup coming up, I'm sure they're also trying to get informed for that, because they're going to have an opportunity to get, better international experience in a sense. So this is probably going to be a rough one. That's at least to me. I feel like it's going to be a rough one. Yeah, maybe 100 can somehow surprise them, but I feel like that probably won't be the case. So this is probably more like an 80-20 kind of situation. Oops. There we go. Sorry about that. It's probably like a 20-80 kind of situation, they're just playing too well. They're still way more coordinated than the bulk of the teams except for Cloud9. Cloud9's actually decently coordinated as well, so not going to work well for them. Shopify versus Cloud9. I'll be honest, there's probably not a whole lot I can really say in the end, because it's going to be Cloud9 favored heavily. It's probably a 90-10. Oh man, I really gotta stop doing this. It's fine, whatever. This is probably a 90-10 kind of situation, right? Where clearly, Cloud9 just, the way they use their support Vulcan, he does tempo bases. Basically, he looks and he hides in brushes, behind walls, whatever. So he's in Fog of War, and Berserker is just pushing, doing his thing. And you can't just engage on Berserker because you're not 100% sure if Vulcan is just going to instantly answer it, right? But reality is he's actually based, deployed back onto the map to affect either top lane, mid lane, get vision. Maybe he's going towards Grub sooner than you. And if you don't guess it correctly, then you get kind of screwed. And Vulcan is looking better. He's making more plays. And all in all, that's a huge boon for them because this is how their team was supposed to be designed. You know, they're supposed to do full clearing with Blabber. Laners hold down the fort. Thanatos is looking perfectly fine. And yeah, it's been good. But, you know, if Shopify is going to try to mix things up, because, you know, they really need to mix things up. One, Skarner, Udyr, you know, whatever you can imagine top lane, Renekton, that's going to keep things like chill, cool, do that. Then put all your focus on trying to screw JoJo. You have to do this. No matter what, you just need to find a way. Because if you can't find a way, you might as well just back it up. You're just going to lose, like just like Immortals lost. And yeah, it's not going to look good. Like your execution on fights is not great, so you must get the early leads. You need to play not... I mean, personally, I would probably not play AP junglers over them. I'd probably play AP mid and try to aim for the AD junglers, and then they can pose. And if they can't, oh well, that's why they get the 10%. Dignitas' FlyQuest, you know, dig season, as they say. This is an interesting one because this is the one where we have Quad versus Jensen. We have Spica versus Inspired. I think Inspired is definitely better than Spica when it comes to just, you know, correct pathing, punishing in that sense. I think Spica's better than Inspired in certain areas. He might just be, honestly, it might just be his ability to kind of left himself and like push onward, because it does seem like actually a reasonable trait by him. It doesn't seem like he's like over tilting in situations. I still don't think he plays fights that well, but it's definitely something to consider. And you know that FlyQuest is going to play these clearing junglers, so he might find opportunities like Shopify does against Cloud9, where you're picking up, you know, some of these 80 junglers, Rek'Sai, Xin Zhao, probably by, you know, and for FlyQuest, and like, you know, bans are probably have to, unless you play Zyra, you probably have to ban Zyra. Probably, like, if you want to go that route, you probably want to ban the fastest clearing junglers you can imagine, which is Karthus and Zyra, and if they don't, then that could be a big problem. Naturally, also, their bot lane has always been a play. I mean, I think they played good in the first week, and in the second week, they kind of slipped up. And if that's something you can prey on again, then it's definitely a good avenue for FlyQuest. You know, Quad has to show up. You cannot get taken down by Jensen, and so you need to give Quad more help in the mid lane with Busio, with Inspired, and get Quad in a good position where he can shift around the map and impact the lanes. Whipple will be fine. Just give him the correct matchup and just play it from there, you know? I think they're just kind of a straightforward team, and as long as you have a reasonable draft and you have an actionable plan, and you know that Jensen is not going to assist a ton on the map, he's just going to play his lane pretty well, then, you know, find a way to have mid impact the sides more. And so that would be a huge avenue. And man, this is a hard one to take, because part of me wants to just say Dig will win. And I actually think I will, which is a bit of a flip up from what I was thinking. And I think, man, or do I say it's a 50-50? I'm going to give it a 55-55, 45 edge, which is kind of a lame, you know, a lame way to go about it. But it's just, you know, for us, like I said, with our last week's performance and like how energy's looking, like, yeah, I would love to put like 60-40 or 70-30, but you just can't ignore what happened last week. And with Dig and FlyQuest, you know, Dig did show some good signs. You know, I don't think they're the best in practice per se, but it is true when they go on stage, they actually do play better. And for FlyQuest, it's the opposite. They do well in practice, but then they don't show up as well on stage. So typically that will be, I mean, it's like the complete opposites of each other, essentially. And I think a lot of people will want to say Dig will win, but there's still, you can definitely see the avenue in which FlyQuest would just get ahead because Spica's trying to do too much, trying to help people too much. And this is an issue that Contracts has with AP junglers and farming, that sometimes you get caught up in trying to help people and then you lose your sight on what you're supposed to do, which is literally just do camps, and you get super behind and the game is super over. So we'll see. But for now, I would say the most interesting matches for sure are going to be these two. The first match and then the last match. The rest, in theory, should be not close. Thanks for watching.